Capricorn, divine justice is closer than ever. Number 5 will shock you. Capricorns, prepare yourselves, because the divine justice you've been waiting for is finally knocking at your door. And no, this isn't just another empty promise from the universe. This time it's real, it's tangible, and it's happening now. Do you remember those nights when you wondered if all your hard work was worth it? Those moments when you saw less dedicated people receive recognition while you remained in the shadows, working tirelessly? Those unfair situations you silently endured, maintaining your dignity while your heart screamed for justice. The universe saw everything, and now it's settling the score. In this video, I'm going to reveal 5 unmistakable signs that divine justice is manifesting in your life. But be warned, number 5 will leave you speechless. Seriously, some Capricorns have reported being in tears when this happened to them. It's something so powerful, so unexpected, that it will completely change the way you see your past. If you are a Capricorn or have Capricorn in important positions in your birth chart, this is not just another astrology video. This is the confirmation your soul has been asking for. The sign you've been waiting for. Validation that your integrity, patience, and perseverance have not been in vain. I am your name, and in the next few minutes, you're going to discover exactly what the universe has in store for you. So take a deep breath, because your life is about to make a lot more sense. But before we begin, if you're a Capricorn or resonate with this energy of perseverance and justice, leave a like now. Subscribe to the channel and activate the bell, because you won't want to miss any message the universe has for you. This isn't just astrology. It's the confirmation your soul has been asking for. Take a deep breath. Your life is about to make a lot more sense. Capricorn, you know well the weight of silence. Not that empty silence, but the heavy silence. The silence of someone who witnessed injustice and chose not to stoop to their level. The silence of someone who could have shouted, accused, exposed, but decided to keep their dignity intact, even if it meant bleeding inside. How many times have you swallowed words that burned in your throat? How many times have you seen someone receive credit for their work and simply carried on? Not out of weakness. Never out of weakness. But because you know something that few understand. True justice doesn't need an audience. It doesn't need shouting. It happens in the shadows, like a silent avalanche that forms grain by grain, until finally, it collapses upon those who doubted you. Imagine a mountain. Majestic, imposing, unbreakable. People look at it and see strength, stability, eternity. But they don't know that this mountain was formed by pressure. By millions of years of crushing weight, transforming coal into diamonds, transforming earth into solid rock. You are that mountain, Capricorn. And every silence you chose was a layer of pressure that made you indestructible. But here is the first sign of divine justice. The people who underestimated you are starting to look for you. Suddenly, those who ignored your worth are knocking on your door. Those who laughed at your methods are now asking for advice. Those who left you behind now realize that you are the one who is further ahead. Do you realize? You didn't need to prove anything. You simply kept building, brick by brick, day after day, in obscurity, without applause. And now the building is finished. And everyone wants to get in. Divine justice did not grant you vengeance. It gave you something far better. She made her presence necessary. Now they are the ones who need you. And you, with all your quiet wisdom, can choose what to do with that. How many times have you dreamed of this moment? How many times have you imagined how sweet it would be to see recognition arrive? But now that it's here, you realize it's not about them. It never was. It's about you finally recognizing your own worth, without needing validation from those who underestimated you. This is the first sign. And it's only the beginning. Capricorn, have you ever lost something that seemed essential? An opportunity that slipped through your fingers? A relationship that ended without explanation? A chance you worked so hard to achieve, but which was given to someone else? And in that moment, you didn't understand. You felt the injustice burning in your chest. You asked the universe, why? Why me? But now, looking back, you begin to see the pattern that was being woven. That door that closed, it wasn't your door. That path that was blocked, it wasn't your path. And divine justice didn't protect you from loss. It protected you from a trap disguised as an opportunity. Imagine a river encountering a dam. The water rushes in, persists, tries to pass, but the dam doesn't give way. The river could revolt, it could dry up in frustration. But no, the river does something more intelligent. He changes course, he finds another path. And on this new path, he discovers valleys he would never have seen, nourishes lands he would never have reached, and becomes a bigger, deeper, more powerful river than he could ever have been if he had passed through the first dam. You are that river, Capricorn. And every closed door was a dam that forced you to discover a better path. A path that was truly yours. And here is the second sign of divine justice. The right doors are opening now, not like before. Not with effort, not with pleading, but with synchronicity, with ease, with such perfect timing that you realize this was always yours. You just needed to be ready to receive it. How many times have you felt behind? How many times have you seen younger, less experienced people achieve what you were still pursuing? And you carried that pain like a stone in your chest, thinking you had missed your moment, that you had fallen behind. But the truth, Capricorn, is that you were never late. You were being polished. Each rejection was a chisel, removing what wasn't needed. Each closed door was a filter, eliminating what wasn't meant for you. And now, when the real doors open, you don't enter as a desperate person. You enter as a master, as someone who knows exactly what they deserve. Divine justice didn't give you what you wanted when you wanted it. It gave you what you deserved when you were ready. And that difference is everything. Are you seeing these signs? Opportunities arising out of nowhere. The right people showing up at the right time. Invitations that seem tailor-made for you. This is no coincidence. It's divine justice repositioning you on the cosmic chessboard, in the place that has always been yours. Capricorn, you have an unforgiving memory. Not because you dwell on the past, but because you don't forget. You don't forget who helped you when you were down. And you also don't forget who kicked you when you were already on the ground. You remember every betrayal, every lie, every broken promise, every time they trusted you to do the hard work and then forgot about you when the credits rolled. Every time they used you and then discarded you as if you were replaceable. And you never asked for revenge. You never conspired. You never planned retaliation. Because you know something profound. Those who sow poison reap a cemetery. And you don't need to do anything. You just need to wait. Because life has a very particular way of settling accounts. Imagine a snake biting its own tail. At first, it doesn't realize what it's doing. But with each bite, the venom it injects returns to it. Until eventually, it poisons itself. Not because someone punished it, but because the nature of actions is always to return to their origin. And here is the third sign of divine justice. You are seeing the people who hurt you face the consequences, not because you did something, but because the universe isn't unfair forever. It just has a different clock than ours. That boss who humiliated you, you saw or will see his downfall. That friend who betrayed you, loneliness is knocking at his door. That love who abandoned you, he's realizing the void you left. And divine justice didn't bring you this news for you to celebrate. It brought you this news for you. Finally closing the cycle. Because Capricorn, the greatest prison isn't injustice. It's the expectation of justice. It's waiting, looking back, wanting to see the other person suffer so you can finally feel validated. But when you see justice happen, something changes. You realize you don't need that anymore. You don't need their downfall to validate your eyes. Capricorn, tell me something in the comments. Have you ever felt this divine justice manifesting in your life? Have you ever seen someone who hurt you face the consequences? Or have you ever noticed doors opening in a synchronized way? Write below, because I read all the comments, and I love seeing how these energies manifest in real life. And who knows, maybe your story will inspire another Capricorn who is going through the same thing. Let's create this energy current. Comment now. Capricorn, you know loneliness. not the superficial loneliness of someone who is physically alone, but the profound loneliness of someone surrounded by people, and yet still feeling misunderstood. The loneliness of someone who carries responsibilities that no one sees. The loneliness of someone who makes difficult decisions and cannot share the burden with anyone. How many nights did you spend awake, solving problems that weren't even yours? How many times were you the pillar that supported everyone, but when you needed support, there was no one? How many times did you want to shout, "I'm tired too. I need help too," but swallowed it all because, after all, you're the strong one. You're the responsible one. You're the Capricorn who can't falter. But I'm going to tell you a secret that maybe no one has told you. His solitude was not a punishment. It was an initiation. Imagine a diamond being formed deep within the earth. It is alone, isolated, under unimaginable pressure. No other mineral around understands what it is going through. It could break. It could disintegrate. But instead, it becomes the hardest substance known. It becomes unbreakable. It becomes precious. Not despite the solitude and the pressure, but because of that is. And here is the fourth sign of divine justice. Your solitude is transforming into sovereignty. What you thought was abandonment was actually the universe training you to lead. To not depend on external validation. To not need an audience. To be complete within yourself. Are you realizing now that you no longer need to prove anything to anyone? That you no longer need the approval of those who ignored you? That you have built such a solid inner kingdom that nothing external can shake you anymore? This is not coldness. This is not indifference. This is emotional sovereignty. And people are feeling it. They're sensing that something in you has changed. That you're no longer available to be used. That you're no longer begging for attention or recognition. That you've become a force of nature that doesn't ask permission to exist. Divine justice didn't give you company when you asked for it. It gave you something infinitely more valuable. It taught you to be your own company, to be your own refuge, to be your own source of strength. And now that you have that, no one can take it away from you. How many times have you thought you were alone because you weren't worthy of love? How many times have you believed that loneliness was evidence that something was wrong with you? But now you understand. You were alone because you were being forged. Because the universe knew you needed that strength. Because the mission that awaits you demands someone unwavering. And that's exactly what you became. Capricorn, we've reached the fifth sign. And this one will hit you hard. Because this is the sign that makes everything make sense. The sign that closes the cycle. The sign that makes you understand why you went through everything you went through. Throughout your life, you sought recognition in the obvious places. You wanted your parents to see your worth. Your bosses to acknowledge your work. Your friends to value your presence. Your loved ones to perceive your dedication. And often they didn't see it. Or they saw it and didn't care. And that broke you. Silently, deeply, it broke you. But here is the truth that will set you free. True recognition would never come from those places, because those people were looking at you with the wrong eyes. They were measuring you with rulers that don't apply to your essence. They wanted you to be lighter, more flexible, easier. But you are not the cheerful midday sun. You are the mountain that withstands all storms. And here is the fifth and final sign of divine justice. Recognition is coming from unexpected places. From people you never imagined were paying attention. From opportunities that seem to have been designed specifically for you. From moments of validation so profound that you finally understand. The universe never forgot you. It could be a stranger who stops you on the street and says you've inspired their life. It could be a professional opportunity that arises out of nowhere and seems to know exactly your unique skills. It could be a love that arrives unannounced and sees you, truly sees you, in a way no one has ever seen you before. It could even be a message, a comment, a word that reaches you at the exact moment you most needed to hear it. Imagine a seed planted in the dark. The farmer plants it and leaves. The seed remains there, alone, in the cold darkness of the earth, without light, without witnesses. And it begins to work. It breaks its own shell. It sends roots down. into the unknown. It struggles against the compacted soil. All this without anyone seeing, without anyone applauding, without anyone recognizing the titanic effort that is happening there in the subterranean silence. And then, one day, it breaks through the surface. And finally there is light. Finally there are witnesses. Finally there is recognition. But here's the detail that changes everything. The farmer wasn't there when the seed did the hardest work. He only returned when the plant was already visible. His recognition is belated. It's superficial. He didn't see the struggle. He only sees the result. But the sun was there all along. Even unseen by the seed, it was up there, waiting. And when the seed finally breaks through the surface, it is the sun that receives it. It is the sun that nourishes it. It is the sun that says, I always knew you could do it. I always believed in you. Capricorn, you are that seed. And the people you expected to recognize you are like the farmer. They only show up when the work is already done. But true recognition, true validation, comes from the sun. It comes from the universe. It comes from unexpected sources that were watching you all along, even if you didn't know it. And here's what will shock you. You'll realize you never needed the recognition of the people who ignored you, because true recognition came from much more important places. It came from within you. It came from the universe. It came from people whose perspective truly matters. Divine justice didn't give you the applause of those who underestimated you. It gave you something infinitely more valuable. It placed you in front of those who truly have eyes to see. And now, finally, you're no longer fighting to be seen. You're being celebrated by those who matter. Capricorn, do you understand now? Everything you went through, every tear you hid, every pain you swallowed, every time you stood up alone, every night you doubted yourself, every moment you thought about giving up but kept going anyway, all of that was not in vain. You were not forgotten. You were not abandoned. You were being prepared. Divine justice isn't about revenge. It's not about watching others fall. It's about you finally rising to your full potential. It's about realizing that the mountain you built with your silence is unshakable. It's about understanding that the doors that closed protected you. It's about witnessing that those who hurt you reap the consequences, and you no longer need to carry that anger. It's about your solitude transforming you into sovereign of yourself. And it's about recognition finally arriving from the right places, from the right people, at the right time. You are living proof that integrity wins, that persistence is rewarded, that the universe does not forget those who maintain their dignity even in the deepest darkness. Divine justice is here, Capricorn, not as a distant promise, but as a tangible reality. Happening now, in your life, in the details, in the synchronicities, in the doors that open, in the people who come into your life, and in the recognition you finally receive. You deserve it. You always have. And now, the universe is settling the score. Capricorn, as we wrap up this video, I want you to take a deep breath and acknowledge something. You survived. More than that, you thrived. You became a diamond under pressure. You became a mountain weathering storms. You became a river finding new paths. And divine justice is not the end of the journey. It's the beginning of a new chapter. A chapter where you're no longer proving your worth. You're living it. You're no longer begging for recognition. You're being celebrated. You're no longer carrying the weight alone. You're choosing what to carry and what to leave behind. Now I want to hear from you. Which of these 5 signs touched your heart the most? Are you already seeing divine justice manifest in your life? Or are you still waiting, holding on to the faith that your moment will come? Right here in the comments. Tell me your story. Because every Capricorn has a unique journey, but they all share this unwavering strength, this ability to transform pain into power, loneliness into sovereignty, injustice into wisdom. If this video resonated with you, if it validated something you felt but couldn't put into words, share it with another Capricorn who needs to hear this. Tag that person in the comments. Send this video to someone who needs this confirmation. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, now is the time. Because here, we delve into the depths of the soul, into truths that no one talks about, into pains that need to be acknowledged in order to be healed. Capricorn, your divine justice has arrived. And it is more beautiful than you imagined. Until the next video. And remember, you were never alone. The universe was always watching you, preparing you, shaping you. Now shine. You deserve it.